Okay, y'all, meeting's live.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out to the crime board meeting. Gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna call order. Chris. Here. Teresa.
Here.
Melissa.
Here.
Tex.
Here.
And Bobby.
Here.
We got Patty Hayden.
Really, the only question that I have for this meeting is just more of one of concern with the way that the funds are. And once, since we don't know like all the totals yet, but I just want to make sure that our LEOs are going to have sufficient support. I know that it was on the agenda, the question of allocating that money for salaries. I just want to make sure that we don't overpromise and underdeliver to our new chief is my biggest concern. I want to make sure that he's got the backup, but without taking anything else from the fire department. That's a no-go. But that's my concern, and I just wanted to express it. It's really not a question. I just want to make sure that we do have sufficient funds to keep him safe. Thank you.
David Rozelle.
Does anybody know what this is right here I've got in my hand? I've got the bank statements for the last 3.5 years for the crime board. And as I went through all these bank statements, I'm amazed at the police orgy of spending that I've seen over about 3 years. It's just been unbelievable. I'm glad I got Miss Belzo here too, because I know she was on the board, and I know Teresa's on the board, and Melissa was there, but in 3 years' time, did either one of y'all have any clue about how much money went through the crime board? How much money we actually spent out of the crime board's money? Anybody guess within $50,000 how much money we spent through the crime board?
We kept the police department on.
Oh, but at what cost? That's the thing. At what cost? How much money did it take to run the police department for 3 years through the crime board? $90,000 a year is what we spent on the police department for 3 years. I've got here added up. It looks like about $267,000 is what we spent on vests for the crime board for 3 years. Then they had the audacity to come up and say, we're broke, or the crime board's broke, now the city's going to start buying cars. I went through all these charges. Now, there's one here I need some explanation on. I was going to have the page marked. There's many I'd like to have an explanation on. But the bank statements is dated, there's something here.
How far back did you go?
21. Bank statement here dated 7/1/24. Among all the other crazy charges, I've got 4 Amazon charges on the same day, $260.53, $42.53, $527.72, $216.44, and this next one is the one that I need some explanation on, 7/16 of 24. It's a debit card purchase for $895 at Children's Hospital in Dallas. Children's Hospital in Dallas. What was that?
What's the last four of the card number on that?
7621. I just, 7621 is the number out beside the Children's Hospital in Dallas. I was thinking, what are we buying for $900 at the Children's Hospital in Dallas? Can anyone figure out? Do you know that?
It was the chief's card.
It was a Chiefs card. I mean, I just don't understand how that can happen. You know, it's just $1,249 to Sportsman's Guide, Verbo. It's just unreal. The charges that I'm seeing in here, and I really don't think that any one of the 3 of y'all ever saw these statements. I mean, you may have. If you looked through there, you'd have went, what in the world are we doing? You know, I've just got hundreds and hundreds of Amazon charges. I don't know what all's down at that police station, but when Tim gets in there should be a pile of goodies in there. Thousands of shells and ammunition and beanbag launchers. I just can't imagine. Of course, we're not going to get the Verbo back. Here's a Verbo for on 11/27 of 24 for $2,400, and one right after that, 11/27 for $1,800. I just don't understand. You know, we started off with $54,000, and each month we're getting 4,000 to 7,000 coming in. So we started off with 54,000, and the last one over here, I'll meet up with 3 minutes, but I'm about to sit down. The last one I've got, we had 18,000. So we started with 54. We've added 4,000 to 5,000 every month since then, and our final balance is down to $18,000. So not only did we spend up all the money that we were getting in each month, we spent up a great percent of what we started with, which was a chunk. And I just look at that and go, wow, how can that be allowed to happen? And you know, everybody's saying, oh, we've got the best this, the best that. I say we got some crooks that have taken advantage of some people around here. I don't know what the plaintiff said about that, but I'm going to call them out. Some people got abused by this debit card. You know, if I saw that on my bank statement every month, I'd come in and I'd say, we got to talk about 50 Amazon purchases in 1 month's time. But anyway, that's what I want to bring forward.
Thanks for taking my call.
I'm not going to take off my
It would follow you.
It would. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Let's go into old business.
Could I make a statement right quick?
Yeah.
I have contacted Amazon over all these charges on this bill. They can sit down and give me what was purchased on every transaction, but I have to go through it 1 transaction at a time. I don't mind doing it, but before I sit down and put the time into doing that, I want the board to tell me you want that done. If you want it done, I'm willing to do it.
We can't do that, we can't do that tonight, it's not on the agenda, but that's something to think.
Yes, sir, okay.
Okay.
Mr. President, I'd like to put that on the agenda for the next meeting.
That'll work. Old business item 1, approved minutes from the previous meeting.
I make a motion to accept these minutes.
the fact that those bonds were bought?
The one for Chris, yes.
Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, it was like, I thought it said like $100 and something.
Do you know that? I sent you the information.
If I can get a copy of that paperwork, I can contact the company and see if there were any other bonds issued and see if I can get those, and I can try to chase that down. That's something that's just gonna take some phone calls and tracking down and emails sent, and trying to get that done.
If you will, meet me in the morning at City Hall and I'll get copies.
I've got Nelda sent me a picture of hers,
Okay.
and I can send that to you.
Okay. We can do that. Like I say, we can call them and find out. It's not a guarantee that we can find that out. But it's worth tracking and chasing down, and especially if they're the same company, then they'll be able to say, yes, we did some more for this, and here we go.
I need to ask if anybody in this room has got records that belong to that crime prevention district. They are official records. They need to be brought to City Hall and turned in to this lady right here. Keeping them at home and emailing them around is inappropriate. That's part of the problem, is nobody can figure out who's on first, who's on second, Gil Abbott Costello routine all over again. Nobody knows. So if you've got them and they're in your possession, they are evidence. Bring them down and turn them in.
This is not,
Please.
what we have doesn't belong to the Crime Control Board. It's our own scribbling, our own notes that we took.
That's not what I understood to be said. Did you send a picture of a bond that was yours?
I sent her a picture of where we were bonded, because everybody got a copy of it. So it was in my own personal notes. But there should be a copy in the drawer where the city council, where the crime control board.
We're getting down to two choices. We're getting down to two choices. Either turn the stuff in or get subpoenaed. It's one of the two. Too much resource and time and energy and efforts being spent trying to track this stuff down. So either turn it in or respond to a subpoena, one of the two.
Item 3, bonds for current board members.
I have contacted Norman Landers and Goodman Insurance. Both do handle bonds, but they have not got back to me as far as price of what we're looking at bonds yet. I got the Norman Landers from our attorney. He said that there's people in this area deal with him as far as bonds. I know at one point the city was going to be bonding the mayor pro tem, and the city secretaries, but I have not heard anything about where that come from, what insurance agency was done through, or anything. And when I ask questions about it, I don't know. And it's not that there may be a different company we can deal with. These are two local companies. I know Norman Landers has been around. They've been around since I was a little kid, and that was a long time ago. So,
Who is the other company?
Goodman Insurance up in Clarksville.
Are they both out of Clarksville?
Did you send
No, no.
it?
Norman Landers is in Paris, and Goodman is in Clarksville.
Tracy, did you send him a copy of these?
I haven't yet, I haven't found it.
I have it pulled up on mine.
Okay.
Do you want me to show it to him?
Well, I'll just send him a copy of it, that's fine.
But anyway, I've got requests out for those. Did not get them back in time to bring to the meeting tonight, but I will, with y'all's blessing, I will get those numbers together and have them for the next. will hear back from them, and if I can find anyone else, I'll get everyone I can, because that's just a lot of email sending, and I've got time in the world to do that at the end of my workday, so.
Let me say this too. Getting a bond is not optional. Prior district members were required by statute to have a bond, even though you're the city council and you've chosen to be the crime district, you're required to have a bond. It's not an option. It is an obligation to do.
Thanks, if you don't mind, work on that and get us exact numbers, that way we can approve it at the next meeting.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hamilton, I noticed a couple people popping on here that might have previously been on the board for clarification, because the AC was on earlier. You had said if anybody has any crime control records, they do need to submit those to City Hall.
Would be most appreciated, yes, sir.
Thank you.
I will have those numbers at the next crime control meeting, the next regular crime control board meeting. I know we've got a call meeting next week, but I will have that.
New business. Item 1, approve lease payments on police vehicles in the amount of $13,438.27.
Have we decided yet if those vehicles are going to be kept? Are we just going to continue, I mean,
So, what it comes down to is, we're gonna get penalized for almost the full amount we're gonna pay. So to me, it makes absolutely no sense to pay all this money and just say, here you go, here's your cars back.
fair enough?
That's just my opinion on it. I mean, by all means,
Okay.
give me your input.
Yep, I wanted to know if that was something we had looked at. If we've looked at it and it's going to be that big a penalty, I'll make a motion, we approve the payment of $13,428 and 37 cents.
438.
Or 38, okay, I did a typo there, sorry about that, or 38.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item 2, treasurer position, accept resignation of current treasurer and appoint successor. Chris has turned in his resignation. So, if anyone wants to see that, we just need a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve this resignation.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. So now, I've talked to Mr. Hamilton, and, by law, we can appoint him as the treasurer. And if I say it wrong, don't be afraid to jump in now.
Okay, I'm usually pretty timid, so yeah.
He can also do the audit for us as well.
In most cities of any size that have crime district, they have a city attorney's office that have assistants. I know specifically the one in Fort Worth, they have an assistant city attorney and an internal auditor, and they do the audit for the crime district every year. And checking with Texas Municipal League, it'd be okay for me. I would not be a voting member, obviously, because I'm on city council, but it'd be okay for me to be the treasurer and for you to instruct me to do that audit. And just so everybody will know, that's a freebie. There ain't gonna be no charge, lawyer fee for that. It's gonna be kind of a public service thing for me. So that's, you can do both of those, or you can get somebody else. Doesn't matter, it's just up to you.
Then I make a motion, we appoint David Hamilton as our treasurer. If he's going to do it and willing to help us out.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed,
email to my office. And whoever's gonna be in charge of that, if Bobby's gonna be doing it, or Mr. Ross is gonna be doing it, I will ask for those bank statements every month.
Are those mailed to us, or do we print them offline, or how do we
I
get?
printed those offline.
Okay, so we just go get them at the first of the month, we can print them off?
Item number 3, prior board issues include monitoring spending receipts for items or services purchased, Amazon account, identify the owner of the account.
Let me understand, did the board want me to do the audit as well as part of being the treasurer? Is that part of our?
Treasure and audit.
Okay.
I did not make that as part of the motion. If I need to do that, we can go back.
If you want me to do
Okay.
it, you need to do that.
Okay. Then can we back up and consider that treasurer position right quick? I'd like to also make a motion that our new treasurer, David Hamilton, conduct the audit for us.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. So, back to item 3, prior board issues including monitoring, spending receipts for items or services purchased. Amazon account, identify the owner of the account. Who wants to go first?
I was gonna say, if y'all have all got mics, if y'all can use them, it's hard for people to hear y'all.
Tex and I are working on, we've got some of the bank accounts, and we've been going through them and working, not only for the local board, but for the city as well. Going through that Crown Board, the bank statements, from October the 1st of 2024 to July the 31st of 2025, those are the dates we have those bank statements. $50,221.72 was spent. I've got a list of different things that were spent on. You can't make heads or tails out of what was spent because a lot of it was online.
So I went through the bank statements as well, and it's pretty ridiculous in my opinion. 1/17 of 23, Letitia Miles was paid $655 for travel that should have came from the city account. From November of 2022 to July, we have spent $33,376.29 on Amazon. Money was spent on Sonic, Hobby Lobby, Sam's Club, Super One, and at this moment, there hasn't been receipts given for any of this.
Don't forget Zazzle also.
And Zazzle.
That is dearest I can tell, is a website you can go and print invitations to. The first thing that popped up, and I don't know that that's what was there, but the first thing when I pulled the website up, it popped up. It said order your wedding invitations here. Now, you go down through there and you can also order birthday invitations and all kinds of stuff, but that was the very first thing that popped up was an ad. Of course, that can be changed. That's not guaranteed that's what was there at any one time, but it looked like it could be used to order wedding invitations.
Also, we had Miranda Bruton withdrew $500 with no memo, no receipt, no nothing to explain why it was pulled out. $200 cash was pulled out from an ATM in Mount Pleasant.
With no memo.
Yep. $136 was spent at Margaritaville.
That's in South Padre Island, by the way. That is a transaction made at the bar and grill in South Padre Island.
Do we know the date on that?
I'll have to go back. What else? Sheraton Hotel for $729.12. There was room service charges to this card, $66.29, $28.31, $14.16, $64.96. We also went and ate sushi in Dallas when we were there. 5/31 of 23, we went to Costco for $58. 5/31 of 23, we went to Joe Jackson, Mount Pleasant for $39.42. And I do know Super One was over $1,000 spent there. Let's see. We have verbo damages.
Damages.
It's Super One at the time we were having the shrimp boil.
I mean, possibly be it. I mean, but there was damages for verbo on, was it 2, 3 places?
Just so everyone,
It says verbo damages on it.
that is actual damages that was done to a property. Just so everyone knows, verbo is the best way I can say it is it's like another Airbnb. You can go and rent, they advertise that they rent vacation homes. And there is to be nice about it, a massive amount of charges to verbo.
Part of the verbo is when Sergeant Willis went to dog training school.
And just so everybody's
By
clear,
my figuring, those times he went, spent over $6,000 on verbo. I don't know exactly what motels cost in that part of Atlanta, down to a T, but I guarantee you we could have stayed a lot cheaper than $6,000. There's 4 transactions that are for that time. I'm not even counting that. There is a massive amount of verbo charges.
so from November 24th to November of last year to July of this year, there was $11,242.39 spent on verbo. And also, I mean, you're going to have to answer this one. But it was brought to my attention that we weren't sending him for necessarily training. We sent him for training so he could start training other dogs.
He had a dog that was going to be with the police department. He was training that dog to be for the police department, plus he was going to be able to train other dogs. He used part of his GI Bill to take care of the schooling, but we paid for his lodging.
And if I'm not mistaken, he was a part-time employee, right? He was full?
It's full-time.
His full-time Sergeant Willis was.
And Chief had two cards to this account. Miranda had a card. Sergeant Wills had 2 cards. And at one point, Melissa Kirby had 2 cards. And, I mean,
The cards were not issued at the same time, though. One card was
it's still
canceled and then the other was used after that.
and it still don't make no sense why we need 2 cards per person.
I didn't know.
I
knew
think-
it was only one card per person.
I think,
There's 2.
and we would have to go back to the bank and verify this, but I do know one thing that I personally, the bank would guarantee, and they have had an inordinate amount here lately of Visa calls and says this card number's been exposed, we've shut it down, you need to come get a new card. I personally have had 4 debit cards on my personal account in the last year. For some reason, the numbers keep getting hit.
Well, I want to stop that and knock that because both of those cards, there's transactions at about the same
Okay,
time.
and that's fine. I did not match those up to see that. I'm just saying that might be an explanation. If that's not, then that's fine.
Well, do we know who the Amazon account belongs to?
Last meeting, you said it was to Chris Bruton.
Pardon me?
At the last meeting, you told me it was through Chris Bruton's account.
At the last, I said, you need to check his city account.
That I am aware of, that we've been able to find, there is no city Amazon account. So, I believe that there might possibly be able to find out that information from Amazon, but I don't know that for a fact.
I thought the debit card was in the crime control board name.
That they are, but you have to have an account of some type through Amazon. When you log in there, you have to have one, like Betty and I have a personal Amazon account that goes through and it keeps track of our purchases and all of this, but it's our personal account.
We never had an Amazon account.
The city has never had an Amazon account.
No, we didn't never have one. We never had one before.
And that's what I'm saying, it's not that I'm aware of, there's not one for the crime control board, nor has there ever been. I can't swear to that, but I have not found any evidence that there is one, but, as far as whose Amazon account was bought through, I don't know. We may be able to find that out from Amazon.
If all that's true, how are these accounts reconciled at the end of every month? How are they accounted for? If somebody's using a personal account and what you get is a bank statement that says Amazon and a number on it, how is the board who has that fiduciary responsibility making an accounting of this tax money? Their money, my money, our money. Where's the accounting?
We never got a bank statement. We got that printout from the city hall.
It never said to who, for what, we've asked questions, never got it.
I asked for a financial statement and I was told that's it.
What was printed at that time appears to be the register out of QuickBooks.
No, it wasn't on QuickBooks.
No, okay.
Whatever she
I'm
did.
not, I was referring to what we got as city council at that time, but I
It's the
didn't.
same thing.
Who was authorized to sign on that account? Who were the signatories on that account?
Nelda, myself, and
Bruton.
If you can sign on that account, you can, by gosh, go down to the bank and say, I want a copy of the bank statement. If you're getting gaslighted by people who won't give you the data and you have access to it, you've got a responsibility to go and get it.
at one time, the city secretary made sure that we had copies of the bank statement and everything at our meetings. But then that,
Since I've been here as a city attorney, I've announced every year that the city council is by law required to approve the budget of the crime district. And I haven't seen one yet.
saying one,
I haven't seen a budget from the crime district yet. There's not been one brought in here for the city council to approve, and it's not like you have a choice. The law is very clear. Hold on, let me finish. And when I brought that up, the response from the then audience was that I was a troublemaker. And we had been doing this way for years. Why should we pay attention to you? You're just causing trouble. We've always done it this way. I got accosted from in here, out the door, accusing me of being a troublemaker for the city that I represent. And I said, this will come back to haunt you. This will come home to roost. And so it has.
we presented a budget with the police department, even when David Short was chief. And they were turned into the city.
Never to the city council, ma'am, while I was here.
Okay.
Because that's why I kept saying it. I've never seen one.
Do you have copies of those budgets?
I may have,
If you do, would you give them to us?
if I have, I'll make copies and bring them to you. But we,
I have never seen that.
but Chief Short made out a budget, and we went through the budget with him. We added money, we subtracted money, and then it was turned over to the city. And I guess it's with the police stuff. I don't know where it went from when it left us.
If I may say, with Chief Short though, he saved receipts on everything. He gave a receipt to the crime board, he kept a receipt in his office, and he kept a receipt with the city hall. So everything that was ever spent by Chief Short on the crime control board, there were receipts backed it up, and he didn't spend anything without the approval of the crime control board. So apples and oranges when compared to two chiefs.
Also, I forgot to mention, we also, pay for an Amazon subscription out of the crime board account. We were buying lunch at local,
make a motion to authorize our new treasurer, or ask him to audit the past expenses and income, sit down and go through those, and I think we all stand ready to help in any way necessary. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item 6, transfer of funds into salary account temporary for, the chief's salary. So, my opinion on it is, we're gonna do it, it's temporary, and, David, can we make this, if we do this, can we make it so the city has to refund the crime board?
You could ask for it, you can't make the city refund this money, because this money is here for this purpose. So you could say, hey, we'll pay 3 months of salary, or 4 months of salary, or through the end of your salary for the chief, and then after that, it's up to you, city, get on board and see what happens. Or you could say, no, we're not gonna do it, you guys come up with the money, you hired the chief, you pay him.
I think my personal opinion is, if you get him in here, get him started, you know, who knows what he's gonna find when he gets in that police department. Good, bad, or ugly, don't know, don't have any expectations. He may walk in there and everything's in perfect order, based on what we've seen with other things here. I'm gonna be surprised if that's the case, but that's just a personal observation. I personally think we ought to consider paying him through the end of this year. You can figure out what that's going to look like. If we've got the money for it, we will have to amend our budget. I know we've got it where we can do that, I believe we've got enough money to put that in here and do it, so.
Well, if we're gonna do till the end of the year, we'll have to, do a amendment change to the budget. So, me personally, I'd rather 2 months, but
Well, I mean, if we do it from now to the end of the year, we're looking literally at 2 months and 3 weeks.
Okay, if you take the last bank statement, the ending of the last bank statement, withdraw, like that 13,000 that we're gonna pay the, card for, it's gonna leave you $19,393.79. If you add the 2 deposits that, just estimate 2 deposits that were made in September and one made in August, that'll bring your balance up to $30,849.41.
How short would that leave us on the chief's salary?
Well, we're not paying the whole salary, you know.
But if the city has no money, how can, because we don't know that the city is going to have the money to pay, is what I'm saying.
Based on the bank accounts. Can y'all hear me any better with this?
Yes.
Okay, my apologies. Based on the deposits that have went into the city's bank account over the last year, there's deposits made every month on sales tax and ad valorem taxes, which is property taxes. I'm assuming the numbers are going to be somewhere in the same range of what they were this last year. In October last year, $25,000 was put in the city's account. In October. In November, $43,000. In December, I believe it was $59,000. January was $70,000. In February, I believe it was $59,000 again. Then starting in March, it started going down because property tax notices go out in October. You have till January to pay it. October, January is when the majority of that's going to be paid, and then the rest of the time it's paid out. There's some that come in every month from that. So I feel like we're probably going to have some deposits come in from that are going to far outpace what we're spending in salaries and things of that nature. We've We've just been spent down to where there's just not much there. We're gonna be living on a very, 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 very tight budget for the next several years to get over and recover from this. My personal opinion.
Well, looking at the 25-26 proposed budget that was on the city's website at the available funds, I mean, in all honesty, that's my concern, is that we bring this man in here and we're not able to pay him. And I'm looking at what's being calculated as income, and I see the $82,108, and that doesn't need to be taken away from the fire department. So that's my concern. Is
This discussion, I'm not bringing any fire department money into
okay.
it at
I just
all.
want to make sure that, because we're saying we think that we'll have the money coming in, but we don't know that we'll have the money coming in. Is what I'm saying. We're saying we think we're going to be able to pay you. We'll pay you for the next 3 months, but you know we're pretty sure we'll be.
This is not what I think. There are payments made every month. That is a guaranteed fact. Now, I've only got the numbers for the last year.
Okay.
We can go back and pull these up, and I can get the numbers for the last 10 years. There is money coming in every month. Do we know the exact amount down to penny? No, I don't. I can go back and look at it and tell you what the median is. I've been over the last 3, 5, 10 years, whatever. The fact of the matter is, I looked at the last year. That's what's coming in. That's what was come in last year. It may be more this year. It may be less. I don't know. I can't. I don't. My crystal ball the batteries run out. I don't know.
And that's all I'm saying. I just hate to promise somebody something when we really don't know.
Well, I mean,
I don't think we're gonna hire someone on the other side.
yeah. If I thought for 1 second we couldn't pay him, I'm not. I mean, I've known Tim Martin for a number of years. He's my neighbor.
Right.
I'm not going to stand here and say, let's go ahead and hire him if we're not able to pay him. Period, I'm not. It's just not going to happen. So I do feel like that the money is here, is going to be here, coming in from these things to do it. And I feel like that we're okay as a board to help the city out and get him on board and do this, because there's a lot of paperwork and things that are going to have to be done, and inventories of things going on, and so he's going to have his hands full when he first gets here. So I'll let the rest of the board talk. Y'all can figure out what we want to do.
Do we know what we've offered the chief?
When we hired him, we discussed anywhere from
Let's don't talk
$57,000.
about money, let's just, yes, we do, or no, we don't.
Yes, we talked about it.
What was your question again, Chief?
If we made a formal offer of a salary to our potential chief,
A hard number to.
so how can we sit here and say we're gonna do this if we don't know what the salary's gonna be?
Exactly.
And all I'm saying is, don't forget, we are $60,000 behind the payments right now.
Exactly.
I'm not saying I don't want to help out from the crime board, I'm just saying we need to know actual numbers. Has he been hired? How do you say this? As far as I know, we're still in the background process. More may come out during the city council meeting, because that's on the agenda.
I just want to be fair to the man. That's all. And I'm not saying we're not, because I agree we need somebody in here bad, but I just want to be fair to the man.
David?
Yes, sir.
There's nothing saying we can't approve this, but after the council meeting, we can all get together, have a call meeting, and, I mean, we can change our mind then, I mean,
Sure you can, and I don't know how soon this person will want to be able to take it over as chief. Here's the problem that I heard already. Just because you got the money in the bank, don't mean you got the budget to spend it.
Right.
That's a problem the city's had for the last 3 or 4, 5 years. There's money someplace, let's spend it. Well, the reason you have a line item budget is because you can only spend out of that line item. you get to the end of the money that you budgeted in that line item, it's gone. For instance, the crime district budgeted $14,000 to pay on the lease. So what did we do tonight? We spent that money. Now, there may be $30,000 in the bank, but our budget says we're out of money to pay on the lease. And that's what you have to go by. So in order to do that, you have to change those line items up. You can't just write a check because you got money in the bank. That's not the way government budgets work. They don't, not at all. Not any place I've ever been and not by law. So what you're going to have to do if you want to put some money over under salary, and right now, that line item has 0 in it. You would have to look at some of these other places where you have some money and say, if we wanted to, we could take some out of the hotel budget. We could take some out of the maintenance budget. There's $8,000 that's unbudgeted right now. You would have to say, we're going to take some of that money and put it over in salaries. That's how you do it. That's so everybody, that, you know why? Because next year when you do the budget, you kind of get an idea where you're spending your money, where it's going. That's the reason you do it this way. So you can do it temporarily. You can wait and see what happens in the city council meeting and see if this guy's going to be hired. I can't imagine hiring somebody and not telling him or her what you're going to pay them.
Right.
So you might want to figure out what the salary is and then figure out how much you got and how long you want to do it. That's just a thought. But you can come in and amend this budget next week when we have a call meeting if you wanted to.
Make a motion, we table this, give us time to look at the budget, figure this out, get to the council meeting, establish a salary for the police chief, and that way we can put numbers with this. That's it.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
Nope. Oh, sorry.
Are you a yea or a nay?
I'm a yes, sorry. That's my brain.
Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.